It's almost like saying, don't let me debo you for your chain. The way we talk to each other, we know that.
Yeah.
Excuse me, so what's your nationality? Romanian? Do you know what it means, don't let me debo you for your glasses? No. No problem. I just wanted to showcase something that we speak to each other in a way that we can understand. And when you understand that your forefathers and foremothers wrote this book, you'd understand exactly what they talk about. We talk the same way now.
Faces, iniquities of they father, bloodthirsty insubordination, not for living water, waiting to put that work in. Hamashiach gives that order, prepare slaughter. For all his sons and his daughters, won't fill the cities with faces, iniquities of they father, bloodthirsty insubordination, not for living water, waiting to put this work in. Hamashiach gives that order.
Leviticus 11, I'm keeping the diet, I'm causing a riot like back in the 80s. They be like.
So when you guys make the statement and say it was written by a white man, name them. Go ahead.
Name the people that wrote it.
Moses,
How do you
Ezekiel,
know
Jeremiah. Again, these are historical records. We can verify this
How
stuff.
can you tell that? Let's say Moses.
There's historical records that also say Jesus is white.
Never.
No,
Nowhere.
the people don't. White people don't
Not
say
even in the
that.
Bible. It
People
says in
don't
one
say
part, my
that.
skin is dark as carbon, my head is rough as
My
wool.
name is Taz. What's your name?
Well, do white people
Cisco?
not say that?
Cisco, yeah.
Cisco. Boom. Listen, you guys from San Diego?
No,
But y'all live here, right?
I live here.
You guys are just
These
visiting?
are my brothers and sisters.
Massachusetts, when you leave? Okay. On Tuesday, you can go to Balboa Park. It's called the Timken Museum, right? These white-owned, white-established, white-ran. They will tell you Jesus was black.
Will they?
You go in there, go into the museum, right? You're gonna go in, it's gonna be a desk right there in the front. Right next to the desk, gonna be a big rug, and there's gonna be a room. You go into that room, it literally tells you about how the image of Christ evolved from being black, turning into white. It's called iconography.
So maybe now in that perspective, I would be more drawn to that. Because
No, it's many lies, but what happens is that they throw so many perspectives at you, they throw so much information at you, and then instead of us actually going to investigate, it's called comparative text, right? Or textual criticism. When someone says something to you, that's why the first thing that we should do, give me 1 Thessalonians 5:21, I'm gonna show y'all
Is
something.
investigated?
You gotta scrutinize it. So the way that you guys are saying like, nah, I like it, because now I have an opportunity to go and showcase and prove it.
And also me just explaining that I might have a little bit of facts, but I'm also making sense of that.
No, I got you. And I have no problem with it. I'm just saying that I appreciate the dialogue, and now that it's open, let's put our facts on the table. Let's what we call ante up, right? You got to bring it up.
Look at 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21.
Read.
Prove all things.
It says prove all things. Now, a lot of times people hear that in the generic way that we see the word prove. It's like, I got to go and present what I have to you. The word prove means to test, scrutinize, or ridicule. It's what you guys are doing with the book right now. I don't know what's going on with that. But don't stop at a white man wrote it or a man wrote it. A man has made everything you've ever seen. Everything you've ever known, everything you've ever seen, a man has made it. So we can't use that as a reason why we discredit something. We just have to investigate. We have been lied to, and there is trauma there for sure. But upon investigation, we look at things. So the word prove there means to test or scrutinize. It's like when you get into a relationship. You're not going to just give your significant other credit. No, you're going to work with them. You're going to see what's going on. Put them in tough situations, otherwise you might test them. You know what I'm saying? You might drop some money and just leave it there and see if they're going to take it. You know what I mean? Or just put them in situations where they can earn your trust. And we can do the same thing with information, right? Prove all things, read.
Hold fast that which is good.
So when you put it through the test, when you put it through the trials of whatever your measuring stick is, if it measures up, it says hold fast to that which you find is good, right? So when we get into it, it never says that Christ is white, and then you go into the Quran. There would be no Quran without the Bible. The Quran and the Prophet Muhammad literally was trying to carry on the situation of the people of the Bible.
That's why I go from facts.
With both, right? Now what happens with Islam is that they're very, very disciplined, and it seems like they're a lot more devout to their religion and their practice than you see your general Christians. The Bible don't speak about Christianity. This is why right now she asked him, she says, so what do you think the Bible is? The Bible is literally a history book. So you got the life of Cisco, what's your name? Destiny, you got the life of Destiny, sis, what's your name?
Ariana.
Ariana. So imagine if all three of you guys lived and all three of you guys were inspired by God. different
book about it, a story about it.
different locations. You know, you guys are vary in age, and all of you guys document your walk and your inspiration with God. And then somewhere you guys meet each other, you know, here on Mission Beach, and you say, "Yo, I had the same thing. I actually wrote about it." It's like, word, for real? Matter of fact, you know, I heard about Cisco. People, you've been telling a lot of people about this. They're like, "Yeah, I've been telling a lot of people about this." How we got to come together and how we have to follow and devote ourselves to God. Right? Let me show you guys something. Deuteronomy 28. What's your guys' nationality?
A whole bunch of things.
Hispanic and black. Who's Hispanic? Who's black? No, I'm saying, on what side?
My dad. Mother's Hispanic, father's black.
Okay, and are y'all related? Okay.
We're brothers.
Oh, that's what's up. So, what we teach is that the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are the Israelites you read in the Bible. Why? Deuteronomy 21.
Book of Deuteronomy 28, chapter 1. And it shall come to pass that thou
Chapter
shalt
28, verse 1. Get it together. I need you to bring it out.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So, what we're reading is, and what we're understanding is, this is Moses talking to the Israelites. There was a stipulation and an agreement between the Israelites and God. If you listen and hearken diligently, follow his law, statutes, and commandments, that he's going to put you on high above all nations on the planet Earth, right? So, if we had to ask the question, what nationality is running the earth right now? Who would you say? You say black people running the earth? Caucasian? Ariana, who would you say, what nationality of people is running the earth right now?
White American.
White Americans, right? Now I understand what
That
you
was a
mean.
perfect
I know what
answer.
you I know what you mean. We are the most influential on the planet Earth, but we don't run anything. Case in point, we
And why do
see
you think that is?
this is where we get to, right? How are we the most influential? Get that we the salt of the earth, right? How do we get the fact that we the most influential? Everybody is literally monopolizing and making money off of us. You have every nationality in the world outside of it. We're superior intellectually and physically in terms of our talent, in terms of our influence. But again, why aren't we profiting off of our superiority?
Are we not monopolizing?
You feel like we are?
I'm asking.
I'm saying no.
Monopolizing?
Some aspects, yeah, maybe. But like,
Where?
I feel like maybe more.
It's a program and a system that we live in. Do you feel like the people that run, do you feel like the people that created the system we're living in that's suppressing us, do you feel like they keep the law, statutes, and commandments of God? Do you feel like they love their neighbor as themselves? Hell no. So we understand and know that the people that's on top right now couldn't be the people that this verse was written unto.
Do you think we love our neighbors as we love ourselves?
Absolutely not. And where are we? Hold on, wait. So if we don't love our neighbors ourselves, and we know that we're not at the top, if we're violating that, where are we? Are we at the top, middle, or are we at the bottom? At the bottom. Read verse 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So when we read verse 1, it says, if you listen, hearken diligently, you'll be on top, you'll be above. But if you don't listen, the curses is going to happen to you. And then when we get into the curses, it says that we're going to be on the bottom. That's one. That's just one right there. Just observing around us the text versus what we see. The people who are the most influential, most talented, the most superior people on the planet Earth is at the bottom? What sense does that make, right? Give me Ecclesiastes 12 and 7. I'm going to show you something.
Hundreds of years of manipulation.
But here's the thing. If we so dope, how are we going to let people manipulate us? If we so cold and we so dope and we so superior, how are we letting inferior people manipulate us?
Because we don't know that they're inferior.
That's one, right? Because we don't know who we are, right? We don't know who we are. We don't know why we're superior. We have nothing to attach our superiority to. And then when we feel that way, can you get on the news right now? Can you get on social media and start talking about how superior black people is? Hell no. They'll say we're all created equally. We're all the same. Again, we see this going in the news right now with our brother Ye. He's getting on the news talking about how our issues need to be put on the forefront, and they're saying, forget y'all's issues, let's talk about the comments you made about another community. But this same community has had a hand and is creating and manipulating that system. You got it? Ecclesiastes, bring it up.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, and verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was.
12 and 7?
Yeah, that's what it says. Spiritual Ecclesiastes.
I need the, look, bro, right here. 10 and 7, I'm sorry. 10 and 7.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 7. I have seen servants upon horses.
I've seen servants upon horses, read.
And princes walking as servants upon the earth.
I've seen servants on horses and then princes walk on the earth as servants. See how those things have turned upside down? See how the roles are switched? That's the situation we live in. We the ones supposed to be riding upon the horses, the height of the hill, but the servants that's supposed to be walking the earth is in our spot. At where we're supposed to be at the top. But again, it's because we don't love our neighbor as we love ourselves. Right? You got that in the law, shall be the tail and not the head? Bring it out.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 44.
So we read 1 that says we're supposed to be on high and above if we listen to God. Then we jump to verse 15 that says if you don't listen, you're going to be cursed. Let's see what one of those curses was.
I'll start at verse 43. It says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
The stranger, the outsider that dwells amongst us in a land that we're supposed to run and control, they're going to get up above us very high. Read.
And thou shalt come down very low.
And then we're going to come down very low. This is talking about our life here, right? Because this is a superior people. Deuteronomy 7:6. Read.
He shall lend to thee.
He's going to lend to us. You go into your banks, again, yay. He put $140 million in the bank and they deny. How we get out of here? What kind of sense does that make? Why don't we create and garner our own banks, right? Which there's a few out here, but they still backed by what? Something called the FDIC, the Federal Depository Insurance Company, which is a white institution. Read.
It says, and thou shalt not lend to him.
We're not going to lend to him. Read.
He shall be the head.
He's going to be the head. Read.
And thou shalt be the tail.
And then we was going to be the tail. These are the situation that we live in. Now, how do we connect this to us directly outside of it just being a generalization? Jump to verse 68. This is something specific to our history and our life to show that this is our history book. This is not a religious book. It's not a spooky book that just dropped out of the sky and somebody said, follow it. This is the word Bible is a Latin word biblios, meaning a collection of records.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So your mission here is to educate, correct? Yeah,
So-
what is like that, yeah.
So our mission is to enlighten our people to who they really are. The true actual definition of educate, which is to draw from within. Within you is superiority, not just because. Absolutely, because the scripture says wisdom is a principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all I get understanding. So, not only because sometimes you ask somebody, you was like, well, how do you know which one is which? It's like you read it. Blessed is he that readeth, right? So when we get into it, we actually read it. Then we can say, okay, what's actually going on here? Separating ourselves from the institution that have abused this book, our records, and have turned it into a universal thing. This is what the word Catholic means, universal. These are records of specific men talking to specific people. See what I'm saying? And identity and nationality that they took away from us, right? So when you guys say Hispanic, which Hispanic demographic? Puerto Rican, right? What does the word Puerto Rican mean? Port of riches. You guys didn't call yourself the Port of riches. Thank you. Thank you. The conquistador or the conqueror and the colonizer came over there. Exactly. Exactly. The Tainos. You know what I'm saying? You guys were the Puerto Ricans.
Like I said, I know facts in some some parts I am ignorant to, so that's why I'm sitting here listening to facts.
Facts. But again, it now takes a community for us to now put all of this information together, establish, a solid foundation, and then build from there. A lot of times we're trying to build on being Hispanic American, Puerto Rican American, Black American. It's like, no, we have to separate from this idea of America because we recognize it's a system that is suppressing us. As long as you call yourself and recognize yourself as an American, you'll never want to be above. You'll only fight to be equal. But if me and you know, if me and Cisco know we superior, why the hell we want to fight to be equal?
That's another thing about that. And you get that, right? So now we think, all right, I know the little fight we have with superior, so like you just said, why would I? But that's also a better what you're doing right
have a mission statement. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, what does it says? You gotta learn, retain what you learn, and then that will be profitable for you. So I'm sure you come across a lot of knowledge. I'm sure you retain some of it. If you don't have a mission statement and a purpose to go out and tell your people, exactly, no journey, no crusade. And when you guys ask us, what are you guys out here to do? We have to wake up our people and gather ourselves back together. Another aspect of that system is to keep us separated.
And do you think that's a part of becoming
I think becoming superior is not necessarily a goal, because that's just inevitable.
That's always going to be.
You've always been
They're
that.
going to be superior to God.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that
There's a reason why they're like, oh my God, honey, it's so beautiful. Your hair, you're perfect. Your body, you can see everything.
absolutely. And then people go and pay money to look like you guys. You see what I'm saying? That's already just a superior, idea right there in itself. But even then, the way that you think, the way you carry yourself, the way you dress. You see what I'm saying? Like, who made Crocs pop? Who made Crocs poppin'? People wasn't rocking Crocs until black people put them on the map. Now you can go and find $300, $400, $500, $1,000, actually $1,000 pair of Crocs right now on StockX. You see what I'm saying? Who made Balenciaga and all of this other stuff popping? Nobody but us. You see what I'm saying? And then now we get into where it can become retro. Now you can wear an old pair of Balenciagas. Now you can wear an old pair of Pradas that they was rocking 10, 15, 20 years ago and make it stylish, right? So I think one of you guys were saying, so what do we do now with the information? You guys didn't get a flyer? Give them a flyer, right? For sure. Give them a Northern and Southern Kingdom flyer, because they got family, right?
Thank
Show
you.
you guys something real quick. Deuteronomy 28:68.
Deuteronomy chapter
He
28.
says you could step on it.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So when you're familiar with the story of the Israelites in Egypt, they were enslaved, right? The same way we're enslaved here.
you're recording. I appreciate it.
Even when you look at the dollar bill, you see the pyramid on it, right? There's so many different connections in terms of the characteristics of how Egypt was ran and how Egypt operated and how they dealt with their slaves is the same way they dealt with us, right? Chattel slavery. Read.
It says, with ships.
So the Lord is telling the Israelites, remember, if you follow me, I'm going to bless you. If you disobey me, I'm going to curse you. One of the curses is, this is right after he brought the Israelites out of Egypt. So he's telling them, listen, if you disobey me, I'm going to take you back into Egypt again, but this time it's going to be with ships. Read.
It says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee,
By the way whereof I spoke unto you, read.
thou shalt see it no more again.
There was a promise that God made to the Israelites that they weren't going to see Egypt again. So we understand that this is a euphemistic Egypt, because they didn't need ships to go into Egypt. They didn't need ships to come out of Egypt. It's figurative, or like I said, it's euphemistic for in slavery, right? You got the Exodus? Exodus 22, real quick. You got it? It's a bunch of them, but we know the main one, Exodus 22. It's almost like saying, don't let me debo you for your chain. The way we talk to each other, we know that.
Yeah.
Excuse me, so what's your nationality? Romanian? Do you know what it means, don't let me debo you for your glasses? No. No. And it's no knock to you.
20 years, but I just don't use that language.
No problem. I just wanted to showcase something that we speak to each other in a way that we can understand. And when you understand that your forefathers and foremothers wrote this book, you'd understand exactly what they talk about. We talk the same way now. You ever heard the term, there's nothing new under the sun? Right? That which have been is now. We talk the same exact way. And guess what? God talks to us that way. Don't let me debo you for your chain. The Lord is saying, if you disobey me, I'm going to bring Egypt back. You know how you were crying and pleading unto me when you was in Egypt working rigorous and bondage. We was working and building up the treasure cities of Egypt like we were picking cotton, building up America.
That's right.
The same exact way. So the Lord is saying, I'll bring Egypt on you again. But there's no body of water separating Israel and Egypt, so we understand it's euphemistic. Go ahead.
Book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
I am the Lord thy God that brought you out of the land of Egypt. Read.
Out of the house of bondage.
So this is the way that we understood what Egypt was. The house of bondage. Right? Go back to Deuteronomy 28:16.
Back in Deuteronomy.
Hold that. Revelation 11 and 8. Quick.
Book of Revelation chapter 11 verse 8.
Go ahead.
and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
So that's talking about the dead bodies of the Israelites. Like I said, this entire book, from Genesis to Revelation, is talking to Israelites.
That's right.
It's written by Israelites,
That's right.
talking to Israelites
That's right.
for the purpose of resurrecting and delivering Israelites from all of the different curses and captivities that they went in.
That's right.
Israelites would be blacks and
Get this man again. Right? Get this man again. Because that's us. Again, what we're showing and pointing out is that they've taken our nationality and idea away from us. They call me black or Negro. They call you Puerto Rican. They call other Hispanics, they call him Native American. They call other brothers Mexican, Colombian, Brazilian, XYZ. They took our identity away from us, took our culture, language from us. That's why we have to communicate in English. Do you guys know Spanish? Come on,
Absolutely not.
two white languages that we've been forced to speak. Our identity being taken away from us. What is our identity now? Or truly that we Israelites. If we understood and knew that we was the Israelites of the Bible, somebody like Nat Turner, y'all heard of Nat Turner before?
No.
You heard of Nat Turner, right? He led a slave revolt. It's okay though, that's what I'm saying. This is what we
No, I
for.
learned it in African-American.
African American Studies class, right? Nate Parker actually did a movie on it in 2016. It's called Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation, I watched that movie.
You watched it, right? With Nate Parker. That was a story about Nat Turner that led a slave revolt, and he understood that he was an Israelite because they gave us the Bible on the plantation, picking and choosing what scriptures that we can use, what we can tell each other. He reads it, understand he's an Israelite, and that salvation is for his people. Everything that they're going through, he says every scripture that they use to justify our enslavement, he says there's at least 10 that talks about our liberation. That's the same thing we're dealing with right now. And this is actually events in history that inspired them letting us off of the plantation. Because they knew they couldn't keep the whip on our back that long. Right. So now they have to enslave us mentally rather than physically like they did on the plantation. But again, it's the same thing that we dealt with in Egypt. Finish it out.
For all his sons and his daughters won't fill the cities with faces. Iniquities of they father, bloodthirstiest of our nation. Not for living water, waiting to put that work in. Hamashiach give us that order, prepare slaughter. For all his sons and his daughters won't fill the cities with faces. Iniquities of they father, bloodthirstiest of our nation. Not for living water, waiting to put this work in. Hamashiach give us that order.